Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. It doesn't matter, seem to matter what thing I see on Sky News or BBC News or wherever you watch your news. All seems to be talking about how everything's broken, whether it's to do with money, whether it's to do with immigration and all sorts of things. Everything seems to be broken. I don't think it's broken. It's just I think people now are aware that the system just doesn't work. The system that we've all hold on to and all defend. When anyone says, what about, doing this, that and the other, you're called a socialist or a communist for wanting everyone to live, freely without money and stuff. People want to hold on to these things that are actually shackling them without really thinking about it, realizing that. And like with this immigration thing, to solve immigration, well, some people just don't want to bring people who look different to them into the country. But people are forgetting like I say, these universal truths. The universal truths of all human beings, no matter how we divided ourselves, which some is a way to control. Some divisions are just geographical or necessary, but no division is really necessary for humanity. We don't need to divide ourselves. We are one. It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter our race. It doesn't matter our sexual preference. It doesn't matter any of these things. As long as we're not killing each other, then we want to get on with each other. We're all human beings. We're all the same. We inherited the place that we found ourselves upon freely, with everything, with abundance to be able to do everything possible with each other. But we've tried to possess it and create power out of these free things. And now you have these people that are talking about immigration, even with the Rishi Sunak thing, is like, how can he be prime minister? Same with the Barack Obama, with Donald Trump asking for his birth certificate, all this kind of racist rhetoric. And it sort of creates the division. It creates, polemics and people fighting each other, whereas not actually realizing the real universal truth. We're all human beings. And to solve these problems, how do you solve, immigration? Well, it's easy. It's not something that the businesses, not something the powerful will like, because it means they have to give up on the system that they're in. And the way to solve immigration is to make the places where everyone lives exactly the same. I.e., everyone has everywhere, whichever country is the best country in the world, with the best hospitals, the best technology, the best everything. It may be a conglomerate of them, but let's say it's London or New York or somewhere in Dubai or wherever it is, where everything is perfect, or not perfect, but because there's still restraints because of money. But infrastructure is good. Let's say it's livable and everyone has a fairly good life. There's no reason why that can't be everywhere. The thing that's stopping it is us, human beings, and money and the system. But it needn't be that way. So if you want to solve immigration, if you're these far-right people, don't like people that look like you, all you have to do is fix the countries everywhere and let everyone, I don't want to pander to that kind of far-right or racist rhetoric, because you shouldn't see those people as different. You should see everyone as human beings, because we are all human beings. We're all brothers and sisters, each other. It doesn't matter what we look like and all these things. And if you can't see that, well, that means there's a problem. Because that's the universal truth, that you're a human being and the person you dislike is also a human being. And we're bred for these things. As babies, when we're born black, white, orange, yellow, whatever colour, we all get on with each other until we're segregated and taught. In different countries, say if you're born in North Korea, or if you're born in America, you hate, North Koreans hate Americans, Americans hate North Koreans, or Russians, or Chinese, or Middle East, or whatever. Where it's through cinema, it's through subtle nuances. It's not, you must hate this, but how do we get it? Why is it, if you think about it, why is it we mistrust certain people, certain colours, certain races, certain countries? Where does this come from? Because we didn't have it as babies. We've been taught it somehow by someone, either through subtle means, like in movies, where if when I used to do movie history, like in the 30s and 40s, it'd be Germans who were the enemies, Yeah, and then it went to Cold War. Some of these, they'd have the red in colours and things to try and make it not like communism. And there's lots of, tricks that the media, that cinema used to have these metaphors and symbolism and stuff. And then, it changed to Arabs and then to Russians, So having, watching your James Bond every year, you get a different race as an enemy. Yeah, and sometimes you will get a British person playing, a German or a British person as the enemy. But majority of the films, their enemies are, because they want you to easily, see this person as the enemy, So it's like if they want to do a film about terrorism, it's easy to get someone with a big beard, Assalamu alaikum, and then, or A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. They speak Arabic, and suddenly you then think, oh, this is a terrorist. But just a minute, they're just speaking Arabic. They're just Muslims. Why do you see that? Why do you see I'm a Russian and Mr. Bond? Why is it you see that? You've been programmed. We've all been programmed these things. We weren't born with this racism. We weren't born with this dislike of other human beings. When we were in nursery, you all played with each other, as the P. Gabriel song goes. So it's all about understanding these universal truths and understanding, wait a minute, you have a problem. Where have you got this problem from? And how do we solve it? We solve it by getting rid of these divisions, getting rid of these the things that are causing divisions. And a lot of that is cinema. It's entertaining, but sometimes it's dangerous because of these drip things that you watch all the time. Because not just one thing, you watch it through different movies, different TV series. It accumulates and it programs you. That's just how we are as human beings. That's why when we teach, someone stands in front of you and teaches you. That's how you learn. You didn't learn it organically by walking around and finding it, although you can learn that way as well, and you do learn that way as well as that. But our majority of teaching is someone standing in front of you and imparting knowledge, and you trust them to impart you the truth. And it doesn't matter whether they're telling you the truth or not, because whatever they tell you is whatever you believe, until you then start to watch things on YouTube or you start to question things and you start to realize, wait a minute, I was taught this, but wait a minute, but that, and you start to realize that some of the things you've been taught were not necessarily true or weren't for the benefit of humanity. They were benefit of you being patriotic or the benefit of you staying in your circle, in your group, like the idea of families, the idea of having a surname. What is that about? That's about keeping you in that little circle as opposed to actually seeing that, wait a minute, these things are all man-made constructs. You're an entity that doesn't need a name, doesn't need a family and all this. Yes, you have a mother and father or father, mother, whatever pairing you have. But you don't need to look at just that circle as, what was the famous phrase? Charity starts at home, or, all those types of things. That's keeping you within that small circle, whereas you're in a much larger circle because you're a human being. We're all the same. We're all of the same family of human beings. So, yeah, just watching all this stuff, where everything seems to be broken everywhere and all these systems. And a lot of it's to do with the fact that the system doesn't work, but no one ever wants to change it because everyone is either they haven't got the power or they just accept, well, this is just the way it is, or there isn't any better other way. Well, we can't all live together happily with each other and not have to need passports and not have to have names and patriotism and, all this kind of things, because how would we play football with each other? Well, what if the thing is, people get angry a lot of times about the wrong things. What we should all be getting angry about is that fellow human beings like us, who just because of a bit of luck, where they were born, who their parents were, what country they're in, historically, whether that country has been, the ones with the white hats, the ones that managed to subjugate other species of human beings, I shouldn't say species, but other countries of human beings, just happen to do that. But and then it depends where you're born. If you're born, say, in America, you may be wealthy. It depends what your parents are. Or if you're born in somewhere else, you may be poor and have a very short life and have misery. Well, no, there's no reason for that, because we know we have all the resources. They're free. No matter how much your electricity, gas, coal, cars, all these things. Every invention that's ever been made has come from Mother Earth, as it were. A name we made up for this place that we found ourselves upon, because we don't really know the who, what, why, when, why we're here, who we are, what this place is, everything, animals, everything we put names to in order to possess, in order to communicate, in order to control. Same as bits of land that we now fight over. People fight over. Still, people fight over bits of land you can never ever own, because we all die. And what's the point of that? What a waste of our energy and our lives. But people will do that, and people think it's patriotism, and people think it was glorious to go fight for your country and defend what? You're all human beings. You're fighting and killing each other. But it doesn't matter, because the thing is as long as the system's here, as long as the division is here. But the thing is, it's all in humans' hands, because we've all been given free reign of this place that we found ourselves upon, but we've been brought up within the system and all adopt the rules of before, and that's it. And then we can't change them, because everyone's been brought up in those same rules. And now this person won't change, because all these people, will not want it to change, because they're too scared to change anything. We're too scared to get rid of money. We're too scared to get rid of the borders that divide each other. We're too scared to stop calling ourselves in groups and divisions and start realizing we're actually all human beings. And I see this in my own life when it comes to fighting for Alina and autism. Just an update on this. It ties in a little bit in the sense that, because the MP has forwarded my letter on to Director of Child Services, at least done something. I'm sure it's going to come back and say, well, there's the system ECHP and you have to blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to change the system. Even though you told me there's something wrong with it, I'm not going to change it. Here's what you have to do. Because I'm saying that the way that schools are set up doesn't benefit every student. It benefits, I think there's the term atypical students, or neurotypical, is it? I'm not sure what the actual proper term is, so that, they know how many students they're going to have, and this is the funding and this, that, and the other. But when it comes to people with disability autism, they have to then, wait and analyse and see how they go, even though they're meant to go and see them in nursery and they're meant to see how they are. And surely by that analysis, they could have then done an EHCP. But it depends. Each school does it differently. Parents can do it, apparently. I've found out now. And it's just, I feel that if they've gone and checked the child, and the child is, running around, not sitting around, and they know that the child needs a teacher specialised for them, they should then fill out the form, not wait till the child gets to school and have 3 terms of analysis. So then the thing is, what's happening is the children who are disadvantaged are getting more disadvantaged, because they're having to wait for their funding, they're having to wait for their teacher, because neurotypical and say someone who's autistic or disabled, that is different. You can't hope that the same way you want atypical to be is going to be the same for someone who's autistic or disabled, because they have different conditions and different ways of seeing things and doing things. So you have to play to their strengths. You have to do things differently. You can't expect the same. So from that, if you're all teaching everyone as neurotypical, then it's not going to work. And those people who are not atypical are going to fail. So you're not actually you're not helping those children. You're allowing those children to slip further. And by allowing to wait, let's analyze, let's see how it is next term. Oh, it's the same. You still need this. We know what you need, but let's wait till next term, see if it gets any better. Is not going to change. You're not benefiting those children. Why? I still don't get it. Why do people who are charged with those positions not see that this isn't working? My daughter's not the first autistic or disabled child that's been in their class. Why haven't they worked this out for the years that they've been there? Why hasn't the government worked out these, or NHS or whoever worked out? They say, oh wow, autistic children, they're each different. Well, yeah, but they all have core things like to do with social aspects and to do with communication. They all have certain things that, tend to be there, that at least you could have or the paediatricians could get more involved, and before they start school could do a proper medical analysis, not a teacher pretending to be a doctor, and then check these things and then say, well, this child is going to need this. But yeah, at least with the MP, the Director of Child Services, with the counsellors, it's been a bit more difficult. I assume that they run the council, but it seems like they may be slightly different. They're just like lower MPs by the seams of it. So first I get given someone, that isn't my elected MP to do to help me. And when I contacted them, because they didn't contact me, they, were talking about usually I charge for this, but I can give you 30 minutes free. And so I'm confused. What is that? And I look up this person, they find out they're paralegal and they've got some send things like consultant. And so I'm confused. Why would the counsellor give me a paralegal? Like, I don't want to fight the system. I just want to help my daughter. I don't want to fight the school. I want to do what's best for my daughter and help them to be able to do this quicker rather than waiting 3 terms. And so I go back and say, well, I'm a bit confused. Why isn't the counsellor doing something about this? Why am I being directed to a paralegal? And then because I've poked, you see, that's the problem. People won't just help you when you ask them, even though they're elected, even though that's what the whole democracy of MPs and that is all about. When you ask them, they always want to sort of hope that you just go away, like the lazy people at work that don't want to do anything. And when you tell them off, suddenly then they all spring up and suddenly start speaking as if somehow they come alive. And then now they're helping you because they've been, found out. And so that's what happened when I said that. Then suddenly both of them came back and said, "Oh, the one that said that wanted to charge, normally charges, but was going to give me 30 minutes free. Turns out is actually a counsellor." Because I was surprised, why you passed me on to a paralegal? So now she announces she is a counsellor, even though she never said it in her email, even though he never said it in his email. Even on when I looked for her webpage, didn't mention it there that I could see. Why are you talking about money when you're an elected counsellor? You should just be giving me advice based on the fucking, you're a counsellor, no? It's a money-making scheme to send information to help people who have autistic or disabled children. Let's make money out of that. That's the problem with money. People have to make money out of things, and so they make money out of everything, even helping each other. Doesn't that tell you that money doesn't work? Anyway, so then that she's they're giving me a form I could fill out, because apparently they told me that now they're telling me that parents can fill out make a request for a EHCP form. Everyone in that meeting didn't tell me that. They didn't tell me that in the first place. The MP didn't tell me. Now I'm saying, like, why are you passing to a lawyer? Now they're telling me that, and the other one then tells me, who was the counsellor who just passed me over, said that he's a teacher. Now I find out he's a teacher, so he would definitely know, surely, because he was asking me, go back to the paralegal and find out who I need to talk to and basically what I need to say, which is like, wait a minute, what are you elected for? You want me to go and do your work? You want me to go and ask who you should go and fucking talk to? How do you not know? And now it turns out this person is actually a teacher as well, so surely must know who to talk to, must know how the system works. And this is the problem, you see. It seems people in power just don't want to change anything, just don't really want to do anything, just want to do the bare minimum. Not all of them, but because I'm not the first one who's having to fight this battle. If you go on Mumsnet, if you go to these places, autistic places, you'll see loads of people hitting this wall all the time, whether it's ISN, whether it's class, whether it's the government, whether it's the council, whether it's ECHP, whether it's, how their children are treated and all the things and etc. We hear the stories of mental health children. There's 3 that committed suicide and they were failed 100 and something times. I did a thing about many times on the Pursuit of Truth to do with mental health and how children are locked away and all the sorts of things that are going on, and it's happening in the 21st century, and because I often wonder, like, I think, you think people who are in care and all these sorts of things will have compassion or empathy for humanity, and like me, if I was there, I'd be wanting to make the change. If a parent's telling me this doesn't work, the problem is I'll bang my head and probably end up getting sacked, because I'll be wanting to change that. Because I can see, like the parents telling me, oh yeah, of course, I can see as a human being with intelligence, if you're telling me it doesn't work and I can see through your eyes and say, yeah, well, yeah, that's not right, is it? Is waiting 3 terms, what each term is 6 weeks before you make an analysis. Well, that's not right, is it? And it seems like the school probably makes that policy unless they've been told that, because parents can do it. But the problem is you then have to wait 6 weeks before they can make a decision. So you still have to wait some 6 weeks anyway. And then you need the school anyway to give you, their view. So if you're not on board with them, you can cause problems. So it's better to wait for them to do it. But the key thing of everything to do with the whole life is research yourself and find all these things out, because now I know all this, and then when this next meeting comes I can say, should I fill it out or are you going to do it, and like push them a little bit to make them do it now, because the meeting that I went to, they said they know what the problem is, that she needs her own teacher because the other teacher doesn't have time for specialized teaching, even though they seem to have 6 people in for 30 children, which is more than nursery had. So I don't know what's going on, but it just reminds me, like that poem that I wrote, back to my day when children who were not atypical were just put into a room, or like now they have special schools, but in those days it was a remedial room that they were put in, and then we only saw them at lunch. And it just reminds me of that mentality of, because we know that's human beings, isn't it? Because human beings, they see these differences from themselves and sort of judge. Like they see someone in a wheelchair and think they can't do anything, whereas that's far from true. We see with the Paralympics how much people who have been unfortunate or had accidents or unfortunate in birth have differences than non-disabled people, but yeah, they can do all these things that a lot of non-disabled people can't do. So there's a wealth that all human beings, no matter because I don't like using the word disabled because it suggests there's dis being none or no or different ability. Everyone has ability. We all, especially if you believe in God, which the majority of people do, there's a reason for all of us. Look at Stephen Hawkins. If people counted him out, look how much knowledge they may have lost. Every individual, no matter their circumstances, no matter, there's something. But the problem is we shouldn't be wasting our time with the life that we're living, whereas we're just all working, making, to keep our time going, watching our TV working, wasting our energy, because there's so much more we could do, in the sense that the reason we work isn't because we love it. Most people, the reason we do it is because we've got to get money, because everything's based on money in the life that we've woken up into, in that you need to buy a house or to buy a car, to buy your groceries or to live. In some countries, medical aid. You need money to survive. But it's a man-made construct. It's a fucking leaf off a tree. We've abused that free tree and made a piece of paper in ransom of some gold in a bank. That, until people realise that way is not the right way, that's the first step. Money. Get rid of money. Let's do things that are necessary. Let's do things that benefit humanity, like helping each other out, that get rid of divisions and borders. Let's see ourselves not as America, UK, China, Russia. Let's see ourselves as human beings. Yes, we can have names for the places of bits of land that we found ourselves upon, but let's remember we don't own them. We've just came here. We don't know why, where, what, when, who, how, and we just inherit them for that small amount of time. Remember that. And look after the place and look after the things that are with us, animals and etc. and plants and this place that we've been lucky enough. We've been lucky enough because it's lucky for those people, that making money out of these free things that we all found ourselves on in the idea of I can't say it now, entrepreneurism, that false idea. We're human beings. we all found ourselves in this place. Yes, we had to, if we started as cavemen, we had to work our way up into finding. But the thing is, we got diverted by, oh, I'm going to have this. This is mine, and you can't have it, and you have to pay this to get to it, and blah, blah, blah. This is my water. This is my gas, my electricity, my land. To buy a house is my bricks. You know, all this bartering and all that kind of stuff that taking us off track of noticing that we're all human beings and we all should be living this great life. And there's no reason not to. We need to understand that, and then we need to change it and find a way of getting everyone on board. But the problem is, obviously, the people with the power are often the ones that don't want to do it because they have the wealth and they have the power. So why would they want to give it up? Why would you? Then you're a socialist, you're a communist. You all want us to share the earth that we all found ourselves upon. Yeah, because we have. It's lucky that God doesn't make the same offer to you powerful and rich people, to every single one of you and me, that for your life you have to pay this, that and the other every day. For your soul, for your energy, for your existence. Maybe in heaven and hell and judgment you will, but it's just, we're so lucky that we have woken up and found ourselves and being able to experience, be able to communicate, be able to feel, to be able to live in this one time, because one day we'll all be dead. These videos will just be memories and I'll be gone and someone else will have to carry this on in the hope that there is change. But we all get this time, you know, we're all, you know, the trees giving us air, the fruits, the vegetable, or the food, you know, TVs made from silicon, made from all these things, all this material that makes everything around you. Remember that. It was all given to you freely. Yes, man has come along and found ways to manufacture it and do all these things, and that's great. But all the resources, everything, from everything you come across, including yourself, is freely given. And you cannot be owned or possessed or should have a paltry price for. Until you see that, we're never going to change. Please, if you have a Facebook or social media, only 10 people will watch my video on YouTube. Those 10 people, please, if you've got to the end, please share this on your personal Facebook, YouTube, Snap, whatever, your social media, all of them. Because then whatever you have, maybe 10 people, you know, you can do it anonymously on Facebook and some of these if you don't want to, you know, flag yourself up. Create your own fake account and put these things on if you're too scared to stand up for humanity, or you're worried that other people ridicule you for having these thoughts. I even feel that. I don't even share these on my own personal Facebook because I know that people would ridicule these thoughts and think, oh, this is a crazy guy thinking that we could all live harmoniously with each other. He's kumbaya. And it's strange why people say that, because do they really want to live for this world where you have to, your whole energy is wasted on, you know, unnecessary things like making 1,000 different cars or 1,000 different washing powders unnecessarily, just so that big businessmen who are not working are earning money. They're sitting in their house in their big mansion while you're working. You'd rather have that? So yeah, share it, because if I'm going to get 10 views with this video, even if I put it on my Pursuit of Truth on Facebook and wherever, I'll only get 10 or 15 or 20 views. That's not enough to make this change. So if you share it as well, you 20 people share it, then that's doubling. Even if you only get one more, that's still one more. Maybe you have someone influential who will then share it, who actually believes in humanity and doesn't believe in themselves and pride and power and possession and money, actually truly believes in humanity, in trying to make this change. Because God, I just hope it would happen. I know it's not going to happen for my lifetime. I don't think it's going to happen for my children, which is worrying for me. I hope it happens for their children, or at least somebody else's children, so that one day what I'm saying is something of the past and has already changed, and we are living without the need of money, without the need of division, and all of us living a harmonious, beautiful life. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.